them motherfuckers, they get on.
And the proof on that, you go to a court. You know, it's the Esau system, and Eve be a straight prosecutor.
Yeah,
Blonde hair.
Yeah.
Straight prosecutor, man.
What's the name?
Kamala Harris.
Right, that kind of right, what's the name?
Kamala Harris?
Yeah, she seen a lot of niggas away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's a Haitian.
yeah.
Hey, that would be, we'll say like black judge woman trying to take my freedom.
Yep.
Almost made me hate my people.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
a fact.
Same anyway, nigga.
Eve has a vendetta against the Israelite man.
Sometimes
Cover her, bitch said to me,
Which said to me, go ahead.
where's where's the Yahweh shot that power?
Hey, where is Yahweh Hashem Shah your power? They'll prove that some of our women would not make it, man. Go ahead.
My eyes should behold her.
Meaning what? You're gonna see this in real time. Go ahead.
Now she should be trodden down as a martyr of the street.
Hey, that's literal. That is literal. Alright?
They're going to show you there's going to come a point in time where just like Job, our faith is going to be tested. A lot of our women are going to be there in the middle of that test.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't go 10 days without the food shipment coming in. Where's your God? You know, stormtroopers coming. Where's your spiritual power? Where's your, so, you know,
Scripture was there for a reason.
it's there for a reason.
Hey, this Isaiah 28, verse 18. And y'all was talking about how Eve made that contract with the serpent. You know? And your covenant with death should be disannulled, and your agreement with hell should not stand.
Yep.
So go to that contract, man. So that disannul is going to be voided out. It's going to be canceled out. Like at the end of the day, you made that contract or that agreement or that pact with the damn devil, man. And he's the one to deceive you. So what he wanted to do, he wanted you to sign this deal so he could take advantage of the so-called, black, Hispanic, Native American man.
Yeah.
So now he's done with you, and you're gonna go to hell and captivity along with him.
Yep.
So-called man.
And how you destroy a kingdom is when you free his servant.
Yeah.
Like the woman was our servant. So when you gave this woman the liberation, our kingdom went down.
That's why Pharaoh didn't want to let Jake go.
Exactly. Exactly.
It won't work.
You know?
Man, Eve have contributed so much in helping Esau bring down the Israelite man, from abortions, you know what I'm saying?
Tuskegee experiment.
Tuskegee experiment.
Yeah.
You know,
support.
getting they tube time, child support, Section 8, anything for them to get ahead, man. If they have to step on Jake, goddamn it, to move up, they gonna do it.
The average Israelite woman, you know, I speak from my own assessment, they'd rather have your baby and not be with you than help you build.
Yeah.
A lot of women, they want to have fun with you, fill in the blanks, but they refuse to help you build as a so-called black and Hispanic and Native American man.
That's their meal ticket now.
Yeah.
But it goes back to what? The curses.
Yeah.
That, hey, I get that, bro. Yeah, you got something more?
I got some quick for you. I'm just saying, like with that, that public housing, when we watched the other day, Esau always used, the so-called black women as those social workers to be the front guards for, you know what I'm saying? So every time when they saw like a man in a household, or without a man in the household, they'll get incentives. Or the rent would go down. So if you have a man in that household, man, you get kicked out.
But they go back to that one movie, right? The Saudi.
Yeah, Claudine. Lawrence, not Lawrence Fishburne, the other one before him. James Earl Jones. Yeah, Claudine starring James Earl Jones, and showing you that was a military tactic. The welfare state, the welfare system was a military tactic. That's an unnatural. That's an artificial environment. It's an artificial environment to have a housing project like a community saw. A housing project that housed 700 to 1,500 people, and none of them have a father. So it's a woman and her bastard children being surrogated. It's being surrogated by the government, by the state. That's an unnatural habitation. And the way you know it's unnatural because it doesn't exist in the wild. It doesn't exist. You know?
Like that Jake was saying, like those high-rise apartments are like 15, 16 floors, here you are. And most of them apartments have like 5 to 7 children in them.
Yep.
So while you on the 15, 16 floor, your children down there 15 floors below doing anything they want to do, man. So that concept right there, they pretty much got that mindset. They can do anything, they can pretty much put their hands into anything they want. That's why you see the niggas in Chicago today's time.
Like, a nigga was manufactured. That's not natural. Nations don't produce niggas. A nigga was manufactured in a laboratory called the project. He's the term project. I think Jay-Z was talking about that shit.
Project, what goes into a scheme?
Yeah, a draft, a scheme.
A scheme?
An experiment.
Yeah.
Well, they drew it up. They showed the documentary. They had the white paper board. They had the blueprint for the project.
Yeah.
You know?
And one of the definition of animal line goes into like to throw forth.
Yep.
You know,
Pro means forth. Jake means to throw.
Yeah.
You know?
He been throwing force.
And like the 21 Savage, Kodak Black, the Chicago niggas, that's the finished product. That's the finished product of the experiment.
Chief
The
Seafood.
Chief Keef, huh?
He ain't done the simple.
Yeah. Now they put the package on it, got the barcode on it.
Dreads and the gold.
Yeah.
you got the tags now.
Put the tax now, the muscles and shit. Hey, but that's the finished product, man.
Dang, dang.
Yeah, that's what you call a Frankenstein. That's not the Israelite man in his natural state. Esau manufactured these Frankensteins in these little surrogate environments called the hood, man.
Now he's manufacturing it now in today's time like an androgynous spirit.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You see
Yeah.
these so-called gangster rappers with leggings on.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Shit like that, man.
And that's an objective within the New World Order. Hey, even Joe Biden, not Joe Biden, God damn it. They one of the same. Hey, Joe Biden, man. Hey, that nigga just came out talking about he's a bisexual now, man. You know, and that's what they want, man. That goes to prove that Esau, hey, has that philosophy of Sodom and Gomorrah. Man, get Deuteronomy 32. What you had, Elder?
Yeah, just going back to how you said Esau and Eve,
Yeah.
you know, based on the Adam.
Still want this.
Lamentations chapter 5, verse 8. Servants have ruled over us.
Right.
There is none that doth deliver us out of their hand.
Hey, Esau.
Yep.
Esau is their
The
servant.
motherfucking servant.
Right, he's a servant, but he has that rulership. Why? Because Yahweh Shah received that blueprint from the Most High to give this man a physical kingdom, man.
Hey, the brother Lamar just quoted that scripture. I've seen servants sit upon horses.
That's right.
The horse represents power,
That's
man.
right.
We gotta go to these servants for everything.
And what was that statue of who?
Theodore
It was
Roosevelt.
Theodore
Yeah.
Roosevelt, and you had Gad on one side, and you had Jake on the other side. Gad had his gun pointed down, and Jake had his gun pointed up, meaning what? That they were united. You know, he was willing to do whatever for the so-called white man.
And it's another one. They call it equestrian statues. They got Theodore Roosevelt on the horse. Basically got Gad and Judah basically bound up. They both got chains on
Yeah,
them.
I saw that too. You're right.
Wasn't there one where like an eagle was on top of a lion or something like that? Well, I know
That's another one.
That's another one. There was another one. Jake was in shackles. Hey man, hey, this is real, man.
Yeah.
Servants are over. And the Most High put it in Esau's DNA to rule, man.
That's it.
You know?
He has a ruling class mentality.
Yep. Well, I'm sorry, like he's the actual a servant. He's a God-made servant. Every human has their position on earth, man. Every nation has their position. Esau was meant to serve, man.
That's right.
You know? Like that, I was watching, goddamn, what was we watching last night? Hey, and when the king, he referred to that one house, he was like, these are my leather makers, or my meat makers. The dude, he chopped his hands off, chopped his fingers off.
Oh yeah.
He was like, he referred to them like, these people, these are my meat packagers. Like, so the Most High, he specified this particular nation, all right, for particular tasks. Esau's a damn servant.
World made for our sakes.
Yep.
And then you think about it, you spoke him up.
Make
But
him share.
yeah. Well, you think about it, he was really made to be a demonstration of wickedness. That's why eventually he's gonna be done away with. You know, because you go to these other nations like Elam, Ammon, like they have a real servitude spirit.
Yep.
But Esau so proud, you know, he was meant to be that demonstration of wickedness and pride, you know, then, because his servitude gonna be a punishment. Then that nigga getting away, because really, he don't bring nothing to the earth. Like every other nation, they got something that they bring to the earth, you know, to forward the planet Earth. But Esau is the only nation, all right, his existence destroys the earth.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's why you read in the book of 2 Ezra 69. You know, his whole being of existence was to be brought up into a haughty estate, to be brought down before the kingdoms of men.
Yeah.
You know, the same way that Yahweh Shah is coming back and every eye shall see him, the downfall of Esau and Edom shall be a great downfall, and every nation is going to be able to adhere to it.
You know, I think about that scripture now, it kind of sheds light on that scripture. Esau was the end of the world.
That's right.
Like, he causes the end of an age.
Yeah.
You know, I was watching Planet Earth, I was watching Our Planet, and it sucks to watch an episode of like Planet Earth, because you're not gonna go without seeing an episode where the narrator is describing how this particular species went from 150,000 to about 1,500 left. You know, this particular swarm of this particular swarm of birds used to cover the vast continent. Now they're sailing on the 27 left. Like that, yeah, man.
You go to Esau's house, you gonna see him stuffed on the wall.
Yeah, man.
Like you said, like you said, he brings the end. Because it was one post, brother, put up a while back. Basically, it was dealing with the bees, like a meme, of a bee. And basically, it's a caption that said, "If I go, you go." Basically, if there ain't no more bees, humans not gonna exist.
But we found out, like the brothers, you brought out the cell phone towers. And I recently saw a documentary on insecticides. So basically, the insecticides was the cause for a lot of bees disappearing, man.
Yeah.
And and it was sucked so bad. I know brothers want to get the scriptures. We're nutrient deficient as a nation in America, man. Because you got so-called industrialized farming. They never kept the land savage. Then on top of that, you got within that intensive farming. So within a short, like Esau, he how do you call it? He cultivates 10 times the amount of crops that he should year round, even in the winter time. So that strips the soil of its nutrients. So we're literally dying.
He makes the world as a wilderness.
And because life is a simulation. That's why it says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest.
Yep.
And you look at things like Our Planet or Planet Earth or National Geographic or Discovery Channel, and you look at it and you're in amazement on how beautiful the Heavenly Father made everything, but at the same time you're disappointed in the particular condition that the planet Earth is in. But this is throwaway. Saying all this is going to be discarded, man. Like even what we see, we touch and we feel, the Heavenly Father has what prepared. He has fire prepared, right? That's why he says to remember Sodom and Gomorrah. Because all of this is something that's temporal. But the eternal, that's what's going to come. That's why Jacob's hand held on to the heel of Esau. You know what I mean?
Romans 9 and 21. Have not the potter power over the clay?
Right, so who's the potter? Yahweh Hashem al Shah. Go ahead.
And it says, of the same lump to make one vessel for 200.
Remember, because what? Because out of Jacob, right? You had who? No. Out of Isaac came Jacob and Esau. Go ahead.
As you always go to the spirit, like Jacob was made plain.
Yeah.
Go to the word plain.
Yeah. One who kept the law was moral.
And it says, in another unto this honor.
Right, that's Esau. So at this time frame, even Apostle Paul is breaking down, you have what? Two mannerisms of people, man. Go ahead.
Verse 22. What if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endure with much long suffering?
Hey, this is what Yash was talking about, because Esau is that great example of the wicked. All right, and once Esau is destroyed after 1,000 years, that flesh will never come back on earth again. Those spirits are going to go into the spirits of these other nations. All right, so they'll come back as Elam or Ishmael or Ham, but they can never be an Israelite. Go ahead, bro.
Endure with much long suffering.
Right, and this is the process of the Most High enduring with long suffering. He's letting this rulership go on until all prophecies are fulfilled. Then he's going to destroy this nation.
The same way he did the ancient Pharaoh.
The same way he did the ancient Pharaoh. Go ahead, bro.
The vessels of wrath fitted to
The
destruction.
vessels of wrath fitted for destruction. Now do what you got, bro. Okay.
I got one real quick. You have one real quick, bro? Go ahead, bro.
Romans 9 and 13, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What then shall we say? Is there unrighteousness with the Most High? The Most High forbid.
And this is all the will of the Most High. All right, you just should be glad you are an Israelite. Okay, don't worry about anybody else. Just worry about you. All right, you gotta be selfish in this thing. You think Kobe gave a fuck who else was scoring, man? No, you keep scoring, man. Go ahead, bro. Get that Proverbs 10.
And it's Proverbs 10 and 25.
Right.
As the whirlwind passes, so is the wicked. So is the wicked no more.
Right, so is the wicked no more. Go ahead.
But the righteous is an everlasting foundation.
Meaning what? It's going to come to a point of time where Esau will never dwell on this earth ever again as an Edomite, man. All right? But it starts with the ending of his rulership. I get Proverbs, not Proverbs, but Genesis.
Yeah, because the good can't come in
Real
until
quick.
the wickedness and unrighteousness exit.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It's two opposing forces. One has to be on top, one has to be at the bottom in order for these two opposing forces to exist, man.
They can't rule together.
They cannot rule together, man.
And that's what's going on now.
Mm-hmm.
But we stay bump head with them.
That's right.
We know that's we supposed to be on top of them, but we're not.
That's right. That's right.
We go, it's a constant bump head.
That's it.
Stay until they'll come back and put the rightful people on top.
Another definition for Yaakov is what? A
Yeah, yeah,
liar, L-I-E-R, and weight. That is the reason why Jacob had his hand on the heel of Esau, because Jacob is a liar in weight. What are we waiting on? Yahweh Shai.
And that energy is only coming, from the potential house of David. All right? Because majority of our people don't mind being a slave under this nigga, man. But see, the house of David has raised up with a ruling class mentality, like the elder brother I was on in Alabama said, like, once you make the claim, that you're Israelite, you enter into a war, because you have information of rulership now, The word Israel itself, Yasha'Allah, he Prince of Power. So when you make a mistake, that you're an Israelite, now you're on a whole nother stratosphere to Esau, because he knows about the throne of David.
You're a threat.
You see, you're a threat now, and that's what's clashing in the spirit is the energy of Esau, Edom on the left hand side. Then you have the rise of the house of David on the right hand side, man.
Right.
And that's why I said the weapons of our warfare is not carnal.
That's right. That's right. Everything starts in the spirit first.
And another point too, if you think about it, why are the cops killing Jake?
Yep.
It's always there. A so-called white cop killing Jake. You never hear about a white cop killing a Chinese person, Japanese person. You never hear that, but it's always they kill Jake. It's always that way.
Right.
But you never hear that.
Yeah.
Everybody's killing somebody else, but it's always killing the Israelites.
That's right. They join heirs, man. Solve the Eddie Bird shot. Go ahead, LBT.
All right, Sirach 33:13. As the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him.
So the Most High made the Israelites to be the righteous, and he made the Edomites to be the unrighteous.
That's balance.
It's balanced, and it's that simple, man. Go ahead, bro.
All right, to render to them as liking him best. Good is set against evil.
Good is set against evil. Israel is set against Edom, man. Go ahead.
All right, and life against death.
Life. What is life? The Israelites. All right. And what's the death? Esau. All right. And what the scripture states in Revelation, it talks about how Esau had this war to promote death. That man is dead.
Say you take peace from the earth.
He takes away peace from the earth, man. And look at the mentality of these idiots, man. All they want to do is kill. Not kill, but actually murder and rape. Go ahead, bro.
So is the I'm sorry, brother. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly.
Right, so these are two opposing forces, man. And one has to be on top and the other has to be secondary.
Hey, because when we came into our nationality and came back to Yahweh outside, we left the vibration of Esau.
Yeah.
Like you said, once you come into this truth, you done leverage yourself up there with Esau.
Yeah.
Before that, we was under his vibration. Because it says the way that Sirach 10, the way of the king, so was his citizens.
Right.
So we weren't the sinner against the godly. We was under the vibration of the sinner.
And it's all spiritual. See, Esau moves like Satan. Satan don't give a damn about the cats outside of the truth. He got them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so Esau don't care about the gangsters and the doctors. Anybody that's about benefiting his society, he don't care about them.
Nope.
He wants the Israelites, the ones that know that they're Israel.
Yeah.
That's the threat.
The ruling class.
The ruling class, bro.
Because you can only have one rulership at a time.
That's right, bro.
You know?
That's right. Get that, I'm gonna pass it on. Genesis. Yeah, Genesis.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 25. Okay. The book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 25. As the first came out red all over, Genesis chapter 25, verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
Right, so Rebecca had twins, man. All right, but there was a problem. All right, these twins inside of her womb, they were not acting like brothers. They were literally trying to kill each other, man.
Yeah.
Why? Because that goes to show you two mannerisms of people.
Whoa, Kill Bill. Kill Bill. With what's the Edomite and what's the Evite name on Kill Bill?
Which one?
Oh man, I just remember vaguely like they were just trying to kill each other. The whole time.
The women were talking about
Vivica Fox and the Edomite woman.
Oh yeah.
That reminds me of Jacob and Esau.
Yeah.
You know, Adam and the serpent.
Yeah, they was in that kitchen.
They was in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
two opposing spirits.
that's right. The kitchen could be the setting of the womb.
Woo! Where nourishment happens.
That's where you nourish you.
Verse 25. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment.
Right, so Esau came out red, okay? Meaning what? His pigmentation was gone. All right, which further proves that Cain came back as Esau. Why? Because in Genesis the 4th chapter, the Most High took that pigmentation away from him. So due to the process of reincarnation, Esau came the same exact way.
Wade was talking about so-called white people today. I was watching Game of Thrones, and a woman was referring to her son. She was like, I remember when you was just a little red baby. She said that last night. She's like, I remember you was just like a little red baby. So tell the fact.
Spraying from the womb.
Yep.
And he was compared to a hairy garment. He didn't come out with hair and shit. You know what I'm saying? But they just talked about a dyed red garment.
Yep. That's all it was.
That's all it was.
Blood showing forth.
His blood was showing forth. Go ahead, bro.
And they called his name Esau.
Joshua.
Joshua.
Wasted away his heat.
Exactly. Go ahead.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
Now, why wasn't there a description of Jacob? He had pigmentation. He looked like everybody else, excluding Esau.
He was
And
normal.
yeah, he was normal looking. But the scripture states what? His hand was on his heel. Likewise. Which also means what? A liar in wait. Go ahead.
And his name was called Jacob.
Right?
And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
Mm-hmm. Hey, jump up to two mannerisms of people. Maybe. Yeah, sorry, 22.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25, starting verse 22. And the children struggled within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
Right, because that's all she wanted was a normal pregnancy. But at the end of the day, that wasn't the will of the Most High. All right, these babies were fighting inside of the womb. That is extreme hatred. And guess what? It really goes back to Genesis, the 3rd chapter. All right, with the enmity between the woman, all right, and the serpent. All right, so hey, we are opposing forces, man.
Cain and Abel,
Cain
woman
and
and the
Abel,
serpent.
that's all it is,
Like,
man.
in every fucking movie, the regular movie, in every sequel, they come back trying to kill each
That's
other.
it. That's it. We literally hate each other.
Yeah.
Man. Go ahead, bro.
And she went to inquire of the Most High.
Meaning what? She went to a prophet. Go ahead.
And the Most High said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
2 nations, 2 different classes of people, man. And that goes to show you that these twins, Jacob and Esau, they were not identical twins, man. Okay, what's the other term? They were fraternal twins. Meaning what? When you go into the science of that, they didn't share the same egg. It was 2 eggs in the womb of Rebecca, man. Going into what? 2 mannerisms of people because they was fraternal twins, man. That's why Jacob is spiritual and Esau is the wicked. They didn't share the same egg.
Can I read this again, brother? All right, Sirach 33 and 13. I'll go to 14. Good is set against evil and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner and the sinner against the godly.
Really point out, Earl.
And that was that struggle in the womb. That was a representation of a godly nation versus a sinner nation. All right, righteousness versus wickedness. That's why they had opposition in the womb, man.
That's right, bro. That's right.
Verse 23. And the Most High said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
Right.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
So you have Israelites stronger than Edomites. You see that on the basketball court. Or even in an academic setting, man, Jacob is smarter than Esau. Point blank period.
Hey, any culture outside of the nigga world, Jacob's gonna dominate.
Anytime.
Jacob comes from like Nigeria, where the parents don't give a fuck about like nigga culture. They just raise their son to just be educated,
That's right.
and he surpasses everybody.
That's right, bro.
You know.
That's
Yeah,
right.
them Nigerians be killing them Europeans. Like when it comes to engineering,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they don't want to see them Nigerians, like all them engineers that come from France, and, you know, all these different Edomite countries. Like they really have to go to Jake over there, you know, to get put on game. Man. You know? And that just and that's really pretty much with any time period. You know, Jake would always be superior when it came to civilization.
Hey, that's a spirit, because one of the attributes of Jacob is ingenuity. You saw the movie 12 Years a Slave. Solomon North played the violin, but he engineered the bridge in the movie, man. So that goes to show the nature of an Israelite, because that goes back to life. Engineer builds.
Yeah.
So it's an ingenuitive nature. That's somebody that's a natural builder.
The life goes to the ability to create.
The ability to create, man.
They got like a video. They show like an older Jake. He got like pipe from under the seat. He made like a trombone out of it.
See that? Yeah.
What do you think? Spirit of creation is
Hey,
inside Jake.
You see the captivity in prison.
Man,
Jake is a genius inside of prison, man.
Yeah.
they showed Jacob World Star. He was show you how to charge your phone up.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how you would come up with something like that, man. In that time frame.
But Jake still, they the sons of God. You know, because even when you go to these empires, like you go to Granada, you know, the Moors, you go to Constantinople, all right. Those empires, you still have remnants of those structures that Esau can't even duplicate to this day. You know, like you go to a capital of Turkey, you know, it was Constantinople, but that was the old Constantinople, all right. Going back to that wall that couldn't be penetrated, like the Ottoman Turks caught hell trying to penetrate that wall, man. You know, then you had that Jake from Italy. I forgot his name.
I forgot his name too.
Yeah, but he was so crafty, you know, holding off the Ottoman Turks, the Edomites, but it was the will of Yahweh Shemal Shah for Jake go down for the you know, for the sake of prophecy, man. But just, you know, mano y mano, you know, Esau can't hold up, man.
Oh,
You
man.
know?
My bad.
Yeah, for that word manner, two manner of people, the word is la'ain. In itself, it means a people, nation. It's like a different people.
A different people. So Esau is one nation, right? And Jacob is another nation. And these both nations came from who? Isaac.
And those two people had two different natures.
Right.
They have two different natures. Once I looked at the word nature and it went back to the word natural. I could be wrong, but I think it went back to the word natural. So this is the nature of Israel in this natural state. This is nature of Esau, Edom in this natural state, man.
You know what's a prove your point? Something what he
So
said.
now he couldn't understand that concept.
Yeah.
He kept trying to say, aren't you your father? You know what I'm saying? He kept trying to, bring it out according to the scriptures, you know. He couldn't understand that concept. It's two mannerisms.
Yeah, he's spiritual.
No, he's not. He's not. You know, now it makes sense when he talks about the parable of Lazarus. How that great gulf splits. You know what I'm saying? It's that separation. Why? Because of two mannerisms of people. And jump to Genesis 25 and 27.
This is Genesis chapter 25, verse 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field.
This is going into his nature. It said he's a cunning hunter.
Yeah.
Now, a man of the field, and this was literal.
Yeah.
Like when Esau as an individual was here, that man was a cunning hunter and a man of the field. Esau has a whole sports division about hunting. Go to Walmart during hunting season in the sports department. That whole part of the store is stocked up with hunting gear. You got whole networks dedicated to watching Esau hunt, man. All right?
They travel globally to go hunt.
Yeah.
And and not to just get off topic, but his tactic with dominating 12 tribes is through the tactic of a hunter. He sets you up to these traps, ensnares you through your devices, and when you fall for the devices, or you get what do you call it? trap,
Entice.
entice.
Like his policies,
Yeah.
or how he done took over the world.
Yep.
They're cunning
The
hunter.
cunning.
From a global standpoint.
So who is this talking about?
You know?
To where 5,000 years later, roughly,
Yeah.
that there's a nation that has this man's attributes now.
It has to be them.
Hey, if you want to get in good graces with your Edomite supervisor, ask that man what type of gun he like. Ask that
Chop
man.
it up.
Man, I just seen Edomite start to glow. Well, I was like, what's your favorite gun? And he just came out of death, man.
Bro, they put $10,000 in their guns, bro. Like they'll get an assault rifle and they'll put at least 10K in there. All type of modifications.
They make their own brew.
Yeah, they make their own bullets.
Hey, I wouldn't dare mess with Esau with a gunfight, man. You know?
They're like they basically time themselves when it comes to putting the guns together and taking it apart.
They got into a science. Something that was the other apostle Ramlam, the other apostle Gabar. They said Esau is tactical.
Yeah.
He's tactical, man.
Surgical with their bullets.
Hey, Jacob is Jacob is not like that. Jacob's kind of like he's spiritual.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Jake can't tell you to a science how he knows how to do the footwork.
Right.
The average Jake can't write a book about how he know how to do the things he do.
Yeah.
It's spiritual.
They say it just happens.
It just happens.
It just happens.
It's a flow with Jake.
Yeah.
But Esau was like analytical and tactical. He gotta break down everything to a formula.
Yeah.
You know?
It has to be logic and reason.
It
You
has to be
know?
logic and reason.
You know?
Hey, no, just finish it out real quick, man.
Genesis 25, verse 27. The boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man.
Right, so plain in the Hebrew, Strong's H8535, pronounced as thom, which means complete, morally innocent, having integrity.
A complete, more innocent, having integrity.
Yeah.
Now, integrity basically means to adhere to something. Like if glue has integrity, it's adhesive. So when you have integrity, you stick it to what was Jacob sticking to? The laws.
That's it.
But then it said the wicked are estranged from the womb. What was the wicked estranged from? The laws. If you look at the word wicked in the New Testament, it goes back to transgression of the laws. So you had one nation that was adverse to the laws of Yahweh Shema Shai, and you had another nation that was naturally adhesive to the laws and ways of Yahweh Shema Shai. You know?
Completely opposite.
Yeah, that's what it means to be morally correct, and that engenders peace. Because another one of those definitions of the thumb was peace, and the nature of, I think I looked it up or something like that. But the nature of the 12 tribes in their natural habitat, they're peaceful. That's why it gave that comparison to that contrary nation. Because it said Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. But then it said Jacob was a plain man
Right.
dwelling in tents.
Hey, so basically, you think about Esau's nature, it's really to bother people.
Yeah.
Like to mess with people. Because another definition for thumb, I want to say it said a quiet, ordinary type of person.
It did say that.
Basically, people that keep to themselves.
And think about Gad, the so-called Native Americans. Think about the Northern Kingdom in Central and South America. All right, they didn't know how to deal with Esau, man.
That's what Columbus said. You know, Columbus actually got there, and Hispaniola, he was basically saying how peaceful these people were. They were ready for the take. Naive,
Yeah.
and beautiful.
You remember the movie Toy Soldiers?
Yeah.
You had the Commandos and the Gorgonites. Now the Commandos, they were literally hardwired to want to kill the Gorgonites. But why? But the Gorgonites, they all had a complacent, peaceful, what do you call it, docile nature, man.
One of them was called Archer.
Archer, and why was he called Archer? Those represent Gad, the so-called Native American. You know, then there was another one called Navigator. His name dealt with something like navigation.
They remind you of Issachar.
Issachar. It's dealing with the stars, man. So they know. It's you that don't know, man.
And anything you say, basically, like the commandos, basically programmed to kill.
They were programmed. That was part of they had a chip that wired them to just be hardwired to want to kill the Gorgonites. And the commandos, they were like military elite.
Yeah.
And they rule with the sword. All right? And that's why you have this book called The Diary, the Black Man's Guide to Understanding a Black Woman by Dr. Shahrazad Ali. And she was talking about the so-called black man in a domestic situation. He was like, the black man is peaceful by nature.
Yeah.
He don't like all that drama that the black woman brings. But one thing that stood out, she was like, The black man, he just want peace. The so-called black man, really, it goes back to the 12 tribes. They just want peace. You know?
Even how we greet each other, shalom.
Shalom. What were they saying in the 90s? Peace.
Yeah.
You know?
They say the Middle East.
Peace in the Middle East. You know?
Hey, I got a precept just to prove how you said Esau is that, you know, that strategic, cunning, tactical hunter. This Ecclesiasticus 12 and 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching.
Yep.
You know, you go when you go crouching, you know, you stooping low.
Yep.
And the scripture refers to Esau as like that crouching lion.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what lions do to their prey, man. They wait for that right strategic moment, and they wait till you know they got that right moment, and they'll go ahead and attack, man.
Yep.
You know, and that's how you know Esau did to us as a people, man. And so it says, though he humble himself and go crouching, meaning stoop low, and take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass. And thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away.
Because what does it mean his rust has not together been wiped away? That's his nature. You're wicked by nature. So even though he put up a facade in front of you like he's a Christian, he's a diplomat, you know, he's an evangelist, you wipe that little facade away, oh, you saw Edom, the devil, man, that old serpent.
That's why God used to refer to them as that forked tongue.
Yep.
You know, when they came with the Bibles, you know, they spoke peace, harmony, and stuff like that. Next thing you know, man, God in the spirit world.
That was a tactic. It was tactical, man. It was tactical, man. All right, but then you said, all right, go ahead, brother.
This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in
And the
him.
brother reminded us about another example of being tactical. Jacob, verse 48. Esau be acting like he on your side when he want to get you to confess. Hey, look, man, look, we both want to go home. We don't care about your fucking weed. All right, we don't care about your marijuana. All right, just tell us who did it, and we can just do it. Jake start singing. That's you know that nigga got 20 years in prison.
Yeah.
You know, Esau was tactical, man.
Because when they go back in the office, they start rejoicing. Oh yeah, he gave it all up,
Yep.
man.
Yep.
And then you see across, like you said, across the screen,
Yep.
20 years.
Yep. Because they censor his voice out. Yeah, you know, it was me, Trey Sean, Daryl. You know, we got to fight. Next thing I know, blah, blah, blah. And I just started running. They got the shoot. I just started running. But he didn't tell the story. No, you know, it's all like your brother away, man. He's a hunter. He's a tactical hunter.
Yeah, he was like, you guilty by association.
Don't you know Esau looks at the 12 tribes like they're prey? Like that's why I said the wicked watching over the righteous and seeking to slay him. That's a hunter observing the prey. Esau got you in something called a canned hunting situation where he has you in close quarters where he can hunt you easily.
Yeah.
You know?
That teacher of Minister Society in the classroom,
Yep.
in Tyler King, he was like, being a black man, it's not easy in America.
Yep.
You like to hunt his own.
He said that.
You know, you are the prey.
And Esau got you set up like fish in a barrel, man.
Yeah.
All right?
It says, go back to Habakkuk 2 and 4.
Yep.
It said, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him.
Why though, bro? The most I gave a program when he was talking to Rebecca. He said 2 nations are in our room and 2 manner of people.
It's in his DNA.
It's in his DNA.
And that which is crooked cannot be made straight.
That's what he said. And when you have all together now, wiping his rust. To the effect. And it's like a look at like, oh, okay, it's a serpent, man.
The DNA is pretty much your instructions. You know what to do. And then you found DNA instructions is to terrorize Jacob, you know, and be the demonstration of wickedness in the earth, man.
If I can add one proof that point, y'all remember back in the day, the little white girl, when she was asked by her mother who stole the cookies. This one even 5 years old, she said it was a nigger. It was a nigger that did it.
That's how they do.
And you know, also a precept how it goes into how the wicked is strange from the womb. You think about, you watch this movie called Good Son, and that shows you what's his name?
Yeah, that part.
And that shows you that real spirit Esau, man.
That's sinister
But
nature.
your little sister in a lake, frozen
Like,
lake.
he was holding on to that clue, like,
You know what I'm saying? He had him on the bridge, bro. He had like his cousin on the bridge. He was like, I'll let you go. Think you can fly? You know, and then at the end of the movie, like he had his mom by 2 hands, the other boy was slipping. He's like, Mom, I need you on the hand. I need you on the. But the nature Esau, man.
Esau loves death, man. Death, it's like death does something to him. It just makes him feel good, man. Because the scripture says, since thou has not hated blood, you know his blood gonna be shed, but he loves bloodshed, man.
He loves it, man. It's a fact.
Won't even cook his steak all the way through.
And it said the spirit that is in him is not upright. Go to the word upright in the Hebrew is Yasharon, which that's a nickname of Israel. You know, if you go to Jeshurun, you see the word Jeshurun, you know. But the word Yasharon means to be what? Straightforward. You know? Esau's not straightforward. So going back to those two natures, the spirit, the soul that is in him is not upright. Showing that what he's not Yasharon, he's not Israel. You know?
But doesn't it say that in the scripture, like, how can you make this crooked straight?
Yeah.
You know? So you can't make this nigga righteous. You know?
You can't say this nigga.
They said,
You cannot say this nigga.
Can't say this nigga, man.
they said, but the just shall live by his faith.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got one too.
Oh, 1 second, bro.
And this is Jeremiah 13:23.
Oh,
Can the Ethiopian change his skin
yep.
or the level his spots?
They can Ethiopian change the skin because you know how they black. They're dark. Ethiops, I think that's how you say it. Burnt face. So you can't change that. Can a leopard change his stripes? Absolutely not. All right.
They may he also do good. They're accustomed to do evil.
And they're accustomed to do evil. You know, so basically, in so many words, you can't un-Esau Esau. I'm wasted away. I'm stripped of righteousness. I'm stripped of a promise. I'm stripped of instruction. I'm created to be the nigga of the earth.
And basically, see how you said he stripped all those things, he has nothing to lose.
I ain't nothing to lose. Like if I already know you about to win, shit, I'm just gonna be a nigga the whole time. You know? You get your point.
This is Job 14:4. Okay,
Yeah, real quick, bro. All right. Sirach, chapter 28, and verse 13.
Yep.
Curse the whisperer and double tongue,
Yep.
for such have destroyed many that were at peace.
Yep. You can break it down, bro.
When I'm dealing with the nature of Esau, what he did to the 12 tribes, you know, as far as what happened in the Western Hemisphere, Jake wasn't doing anything to Esau before they came over here. And we weren't doing anything to Esau, as far as the Southern Kingdom, who was in the, interiors of Africa and also in Europe. But, going back to the history, Esau did what he did to us because he knows who we are,
Yep.
Yeah, because Jake, first you gotta understand, Gad never came back across the Atlantic,
They look back.
to fuck with Esau. Like when Jake has any type of liberty, Jake gonna set up their little civilization. They're gonna have families, they're gonna multiply, and they're gonna pretty much have their own thing amongst themselves, man. That's Jake nature. Like you see that, post-slavery, emancipation. Yeah. What did Jake do, man? Jake, even when Jake started migrating the LA and up north and, the Midwest, what did Jake do? They started setting up their own communities, getting their own stores and markets and schools and
Like Wall Street.
Yep. They were just one of many.
Yeah.
They were just one of many. That's because that's Jake nature, to set up their own thing and do their own thing.
But that's the problem, being separate from him.
Yeah.
They want to lead Pharaoh. But because that's the nature, and all 12 tribes were acting that way. You can see it in what they protested for. They all protested was to leave me the hell alone.
Yep.
Just let us be us. Am I a man?
Yep.
And then that's why Esau created the housing projects, because when we left the South, he made sure that we didn't saturate ourselves in his neighborhoods.
Yep.
So he packed us all those housing projects. That's what that was for, man. All right.
This is Job 14:4. It says, "Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one."
So you can't protest your way into Esau respecting you, man.
Nah.
He's a conqueror. Esau conquers.
Yep.
His goal is to conquer, subdue, overthrow. Those are his attributes. That's in his DNA. All right, Esau knows he knows the law of man. Esau knows that man wasn't created to coexist.
Yep.
Somebody has to rule over everybody else. It's you who don't have the ruler class mentality, 12 tribes. You know, you got it, bro.
And like I say, we are better people to ourselves, man.
Yep.
That's just how we set to thrive, you know, within peace. You know, because even when you go to that, what's that movie on Amazon Prime, Us, you know, when that Jake engineer moved into with them Edomites.
Was it us or them?
Them, them. Hey, because you see how, you know, it was peaceful when she went around her people.
Yeah.
You know, when a woman went around her people, it was peaceful, like it was all set up, it was all love, but they were trying to force it with Esau. And then another thing, it really was a mind game too with that segregation, because Esau knows that if these people are left to themselves, they're gonna build.
Yeah.
We need to integrate them with us so we can pretty much watch over them.
Yeah.
You know?
Control it.
Yeah, because Jake wasn't just a running to live. You gotta think, Jake, all that harsh slavery, why the hell I'm gonna live by you? I got freedom to go. You know, Jake was doing their own thing, but see, they made it seem like Jake, like Esau media. That's why he did the Rosa Parks. You know, he did the Martin Luther King. But what's the guy from Ole Miss, Meredith? The one that
when went to school.
yeah, they had the National Guard escort him into the school. in Ole Miss.
Meredith?
Yeah, hey, Meredith. I know his last name was Meredith. But there was all the psyops to make it seem like Jake was really fighting to integrate with Esau. And then they put that on all these other Jakes. We need to integrate. They trying to stop us. You know? This shit was an enchantment. But Jake really was to themselves doing their own thing, man.
Yep. There was a book that was published maybe in the 30s, or quote me on a date, and it was basically a book for Jake that was traveling anywhere in America, and these are, and the book had the hot spots of all the Jake spots in America, showing that we had all types of establishments all in America, man.
Even during the Great Depression, there was a depression for Esau.
Yep.
Jake still was good. Like in the 30s, and that's how you know that that's facts. Because you said the 30s.
Yeah.
Cadillac almost went out of business in the 30s.
Yep.
It was Jake that saved Cadillac. Because Esau, he was going through his depression. He couldn't afford them cars. But Jake had it so good where they were paying Edomites to go get the cars for him, man. And that's what saved Cadillac, and that was in the 30s.
Yep.
All right? And then, like today, the modern woman talking about, he ain't on my level. Bitch, do you know, like the Great Depression, when the earth was struggling, Jake was doing good?
Yeah.
All right?
Hey, you said dumb, but you never.
Yeah, James Murray.
Hey man, hey man. Hey, but you and your boo about to go under, man.
Yeah.
The serpent and his boo, y'all about to go under, man. Because one of the narratives that Esau created through all this is that we can't build without him.
Yep.
Now, in the spirit, we're not gonna build without him, and it is successful because we set up to be punished here.
Yep.
But we've been building without you, nigga.
Yep.
We're like those I'm sorry,
No,
brother.
you got
Those Moroccan empires, you know, the empires of the world. Go to that museum, man. Hey, what did I know? The byproduct of slavery in America, it created this conception that we could only have civilization with this nigga in power.
Yep.
That's why I did like the movie Black Panther.
Yep.
You know, teach his own. But I'm like, at least that nigga Esau went in the picture like that, man.
And I'm gonna say this too, you know, like during slavery. Hey, we made every damn thing.
Yeah.
And guess what? They took on all the patents.
Yeah.
They done it.
Because if you got this nigga last name,
Yeah.
if you got this nigga last name and you build something, this nigga get the credit.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you his property.
Your property built this, so the owner of the property get the credit, man.
Yep.
Y'all niggas supposed to be mad. Y'all niggas supposed to be mad, man. You know?
And you know, you brothers, you know, speaking to myself first and foremost, man, hey, you gotta look at yourself as great, man.
Yeah.
Not in no proud way, man, but just understanding how we made, man, who our father is, who our big brother is, man. We great, man. We come from a great lineage, man, but this society has beat Jake down so much, man. Because everything that makes your life easier, it was an Israelite man that did that, man. You see? All these inventions that make your life easier, it was an Israelite man that came up with that, man.
And whether it was from the southern kingdom or the northern kingdom.
Right.
Because all that agricultural ingenuity came from Gad. All the elements of the earth that Esau
Yes,
imitated, Gad, Issachar, all the properties of the herbs and roots.
Yep.
This nigga Esau imitated.
Yep.
He got it from Gad.
Yep.
How do you know what American ginseng is?
Yep.
How do you know what echinacea is?
Yep.
How do you know what golden seal is? You know, who taught y'all to cultivate crops, plant fish by the crops, so the crops can absorb the nutrients of the fish, man?
Yep.
You dummy.
Issachar could do it by they use astrology to know how to farm.
That's right.
You know, Issachar used the astrology, man. And then you look at the buildings, how these Ishmaelites build, cause these bitches,
Nah, what you
hey,
doing, man?
these subdivisions,
Yeah.
all right, these big houses, all right, that these women, you know, love to chill in. Who you think built them?
Stupid bitch.
All right, Esau just subcontract. All right, you got Jake Engineering and you got Issachar doing the brickwork, man.
Yeah. Overnight.
You ain't never seen a crew full of Edomite men building nothing, man.
And then when you got the Northern Kingdom involved, it's gonna get built up down there overnight.
Yep.
God.
You drive by and see it, and you take it for granted every day that these men are doing something that's not natural.
Yep.
They're building up whole subdivisions by the end of the summer.
Yep.
By the end, correct me if I'm exaggerating. By the end of the summer, a whole fucking subdivision is built. It's built so fast that the satellites don't even know it exists. So you try to Google map the location, it's not even on the satellite yet, man.
Esau got to catch up.
Esau gotta catch up, man. Don't you know what the fuck what it means to be a Mayan or an Aztec? But before that, we were Issacharites, man. Hey, we were gods on this earth.
Hey,
We were gods on this earth.
That's why Esau come with that bullshit. They'll say that the aliens built the pyramids.
Yeah.
You know, speaking about you know the pyramids in Mexico, Central and South America.
Yep.
But he don't attribute it to the tribes because he know who really did it.
Yeah.
You know, but like you said, they can't mimic the science. You know, behind how is it built?
The architecture.
The architecture,
It's
yeah.
all a math. You know, because Esau can't. Because it shows you. Because even back then we've been so dumbed down. Now Esau he dumbed the earth down, but through there he dumbed himself down. You see, but a man's mind was on such a whole nother level back then. You know, where they could build in a whole different way. Because when you don't have the equipment, you gotta substitute with ingenuity. When you don't have the technology, you gotta substitute with ingenuity.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yep.
That's what they say.
Like I say this, like I work with Zebulon and Issachar. I do landscape, right? And we can do a apartment, really, like in 2 hours,
Yep.
just like that. So you know, I work with Zebulon and Issachar.
So they gotta build a subdivision and maintain it.
That's right. Yeah.
Then who come to scoop up the garbage?
Yep.
All right,
See?
but he ain't on my level.
And without these, should not a nation be established?
Yeah.
These are just the builders of our nation.
Yep.
We're not even talking about us utilizing the laws to run the nation. Utilizing the laws of Yahweh Shah to run the nation, that's what we're here for.
Yep.
We just honoring the builders of our nation, the workers.
Yep.
You can't live without the workers. And Issachar really maintenance this.
And part of the food supply chain, Esau breaking the food supply chain. What is he doing? He's not allowing Issachar to come up here and harvest the crops.
Yep.
You see? Hey, you will see. You know, hey, because everybody talk. What's the topic? What you bring to the table, bitch? We bring an infrastructure.
Yep.
All right. You just got box.
Yep. Listen,
Yeah, if you take away your box, you know, from the infrastructure still gonna
Yep.
run.
And one thing, see, Esau, he deified and marketed something that all you women have. So you have no value.
Yep.
If all 4 billion women are anatomically the same, then what you bring to the table has no value.
Yep.
You know? But then you have a precept you're going to bring out.
Yep, this is Isaiah 3:12. It says, "As for my people, children are their oppressors."
Children, Esau can't run the world. Y'all are breaking down. Look, you got to have the understanding of astrology to get in the ship and travel to the other side of the world. When the Northern Kingdom went from the Assyrian Empire to the Americas, don't you know they were using the stars to navigate? You got to have the understanding of the astrology to build a lot of those ruins. And there was proof during the Mayan and the Aztec Empire, and also ultimately Egypt. All right? But don't you know that the understanding of the elements, Wisdom of Solomon, when he broke down the Wisdom of Solomon 7, don't you know that made you a god? You understand the elements, the currents of the wind, the nature of wild beasts, all right, the virtues, the roots, all right, all these flowers, don't you know, collectively, that means you have to run the world after that, man? And we had that, all right?
And it says, and women rule over them.
And that was manifested on women's liberation, the welfare state.
Yep.
You got project builders in these inner cities, no dad in the household. You being raised by estrogen. The next generation is a generation of bitch niggas.
Yeah, that's the Eve. That was Eve great promotion.
Yep.
You know, the liberation. Because
Yep.
it liberated her from what, man? Her role in
Yep.
the family, man.
Yep.
You don't have to be that role. You know, you come in, I got, you know, here it is. Like I say, Jake built everything, and then Esau liberated the woman, all right, to flourish in the world built like men the whole time, telling her she's equal or above, man.
Because if you got it, if Eve is that great, if the nigga woman is that great, go build your own empire right quick.
Yeah.
Go get you some land, conquer the land,
Yeah.
get the elements, learn the elements,
Yeah.
and build your own empire.
Yeah.
You know?
They can't do it.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, I do landscape.
Yep.
Hey, them bitches don't want to be in that cold,
Nope.
weather.
Cold heat.
The cold heat.
Outside period like
That's
that,
right,
man.
I'm saying.
And moving like that, man.
Yeah, and who the fucking want to go on the house? Change plumbing out. Them bitches don't want to do
And
that.
don't you know what snakes under those houses? Big ass rats.
Yeah.
All right, it's nails hanging from under the
Yeah.
top.
Mhm.
You know, you ADD, you lift your head up, you can die.
Yeah.
You know?
The back of that garbage truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's men that ain't about their life on their garbage truck.
I worked in that garbage truck about a year and a half. Said Jake used to got me and said you gotta jump off that bitch, dump, set that bitch down. The truck don't never stop moving. Once you set it down, you got cause the driver trying to get off, goddamn.
Yeah.
So he always tipping. He might slow down a little bit, but you gotta get back on that motherfucker. You know? And then there's some guys that goddamn it quit mid-route. They'll jump off that bitch and tell the driver this, goddamn, and call him a ride like, look, they get the street and be like, come pick me up, you know?
That's a different world.
Yeah, that's a different element, man. Like, what it takes to make the world go. Like, there's some jobs, you know, that you pretty much gotta be built to do. You know, like,
You gotta be born or
yeah,
something.
you gotta be built to do particular things in this society to make, you know, society go, man.
And that can be viewed as insignificant, but that shit is important, man.
That's the irony.
Because if you don't, you know, have somebody pick up that trash, man, you get, you know, all types of diseases.
Well,
Right.
we can play the significance game. Okay, let's say you're a low value man, you make $400 a week, you're a trash worker.
Yeah.
Let's play the significance game. Let all them go on strike. All right? That's why you go to Dollar General right now, you stay in the South. Hell for the shelves if them truck drivers went on strike. Now, let these bitches that's making all this money on what do you call it, fans only.
Yep.
All right, these little escort sites, these strip clubs. Let all them bitches stop working right now. Nothing's gonna change.
You ain't gonna know.
All these little cute little dancing jobs, most of them are insignificant.
Yeah.
All right.
Robots can do it. Alexa finna replace you whole, man.
Real quick. And Alexa don't have no babies.
She don't have no attitude.
She got no attitude. She don't got no
Yeah.
period. You know, she's trying to take a vacation.
Motherfucker ain't late.
Nope, never. You know.
Like that movie, David Not Missing. You should see that
Gotta
movie.
watch this. That's what I
Man,
watch.
them motherfuckers, they ain't know what to do.
Yep.
They're like, oh, they made them disappear.
Yeah.
Man, they were fucking loud. They're like, they ain't show up today.
Because they don't know how to do that shit.
See?
You know, to be honest, man, Edomites are lazy, man.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know?
They're lazy and they're not.
They sorry.
They sorry. They're not engineers and architects and they're not that. They're not industrial. That's the word. They're not industrial, man.
They just set up to be overseas.
Yep.
Because you drive by like you drive by any site, like construction, them motherfuckers ain't doing nothing but sitting there. Not doing it, but down the check and what ain't working. It's gonna work.
And then Jake, I'm like,
Yeah.
Finish till it says, "Oh my people, they which lead thee cause thee to earth."
well, there's another scripture that says they have cast nets for my people. We look up that word nets, and it basically means leaders that they set up to cause us to go off. So Esau, he orchestrated this whole American thing and gave us fabricated fake leaders to lead us into a destructive mindset, man. Tupac is fake. The MLK, Malcolm X is all fake, man. All right, all these fake leaders. Then we had musician leaders, rap leaders, cartel. It was all set up to cause us to be new slaves, to die or be new slaves in the prison industrial complex.
And then it's it's the woman, you know, that pretty much was drawn. Esau marketed these niggas. The women were drawn to them niggas. All right, and every other man wanted to be those niggas to get those women. So it was all a big trap.
It was tactical.
Yep, it was all a big trap. And then another thing, a narrative that they push is if the Israelite man couldn't move forward without the woman, the nigga woman. You know? But no, that's why when they see the interracial couples, as they say, all right, they really hurt like, damn, this nigga, he done figured it out.
Yep.
He out the box.
You know they say, oh, he got a strong black woman.
So
We don't want no motherfucker.
I'm not gay, that's why. I'm the only strong motherfucker.
They'll say Jake sold out.
Cause you left the nigga paradigm.
you love chaos.
Yep. I know. It's an invisible plantation that Esau wants us on.
Yep.
And if you step outside that nigga box, it's like, oh, this was part of the program.
There you go.
Yep.
It says, and destroy the way of thy paths.
And the way of our past is destroyed.
And the way of thy path is rulership.
Yeah.
Because you look at it, Esau and Eve is pretty much set up to keep you from a ruling class mentality. You know, that's why they whole existence pretty much trying to chastise you, you know, and trying to be overcritical of everything you do.
And how many Evites, let's just be honest, how many Israelite women do you know that look at you like you're like really somebody? It's like, why? It's no coincidence that all these Israelite women, especially the nigger woman, she has this natural perception of you like you're insignificant. Because she's connected to Esau Edom. Their goal is to physically and mentally oppress you. But as soon as you leave that nigger world, that doesn't exist like that, man.
That's why Jake be leaving the country on these whole
Yeah,
guys,
man. You know? Cause it's a plantation.
And you say on Friday, I got my money. I was gone, goddamn.
Eve's goal is to reinforce. Eve's goal is to overthrow you in ways that Esau couldn't overthrow you, man. All right, reinforce his narrative that you're insignificant, man. You know.
No one want to see you smile, goddamn. When you smile, you gotta explain that shit.
I did it to a chick.
Shit.
I saw a chick I ain't seen in a minute, and I was smiling. She was like, "What's funny?"
Yeah.
So
You gotta explain that shit. Like, what's the source of this, goddamn, so I can destroy it.
Yeah. I heard
Make
it.
me happy, bro.
Sorry, I'm happy.
I was dancing one time. You know, they leaned back on me, goddamn. Yeah, you dancing? Like,
But you
goddamn.
get around an Edomite woman, they get it. They be happy too.
Yeah, you work 8 or 9 hours a week, goddamn it.
Yeah.
You know, sprain ankle, you drag it. You do one dance move, goddamn it, everything stop.
Yeah.
Turn TV down, goddamn.
Hey, your woman be like, "What bitch got you happy?"
Yeah, hey, I'll go back to a bitch. Goddamn.
What
Bitch got
bitch
you dancing and shit.
What's the slut name? Got it, brothers.
Spirit of change, so I'm gonna drop the other one. This is Sirach chapter 11. That's how you get what you got.
Okay, cool. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 10, verse, I started 21, I jumped down. It said, the fear of the Lord goeth before obtaining authority, but roughness and pride is the losing thereof.
Well, this is two great things happening.
Yeah.
This is the age of fearing Yahweh Shema Shai. We're coming back to our power. So that's a sign that rulership is coming afterwards. Because the fear is going to bring obedience.
Yeah.
And it tells you that basically that obedience is going to lead to a rulership.
Yeah.
But it also says what? Roughness is pride is the beginning of losing it.
Yeah.
So the two proud people are Esau and Eve. You know, ultimately other nations, but the main two people are Esau and Eve. So we know that your mindset is a sign that you're about to lose your power. Pride is a sign that you're about to lose your power, man. So the so-called black women, a lot of so-called black women are about to die. All right, and Esau Edom is about to lose his power. Pride going before a fall, man. Yep.
Hey, Jake like that shit.
Yeah. Hey, pride, man, it's right. Hey, man, there's nothing sweeter than rulership.
Man, what?
It's nothing sweeter. What more could you ask for as a man on earth than rulership?
And then our power is pleased, you know, to put us in power. If we're pleased to do right, you know, if we're pleased to do right, he's pleased to put us in power. But that's pretty much all that's required. Because Solomon came to the conclusion keep the commandments of the Most High. This is the whole duty of man. Like, this is the conclusion. He had, you know, he was a gazillionaire, the women, he did everything, but the conclusion of was keep the commandments of the Most High. Because it's nothing for him to give us those things. That's light work. You know? He told David, look, if you want another woman, some more women should be ass. Light work. You know?
That was light.
Yeah, you have to commit adultery. You know? So it's like the Most High is pleased to see his sons ruling. You know? But it's just his son, we just had to get our ass whooped, you know, so we can get it. And now, you know, as we getting it, now he's starting to bring this place down and transition us into power, man.
Early. Since brother said that. All right, Sirach chapter 4, beginning at verse 11. I'll read 11 and I'm going to jump down. Wisdom exalteth her sons and layeth hold of them that seek her.
It started out with a punch, man. Wisdom exalted her sons. Ultimately, we're going to get exalted into rulership. Our willing is us, man. All right?
He that loveth her loveth life, and they that seek to her early shall be filled with joy.
Yep. And that's why we happy. We got a different vibe with us. We don't need $1 million to be happy. We don't need a new car to be happy. The fact that we know who we are and we in tune with our power, we good. They're like, we good. That's why it's nothing that you could give us and you could take from us, and now we're not happy no more. Well, it don't matter because that's not what made us happy in the first place. Hey, we know who we are. Now we're happy, man. You know?
Jump down to verse 14, read 14, 15. They that serve her shall minister to the Holy One, and them that love her, the Lord doth love.
Yep.
Verse 15. Whoso giveth ear unto her shall judge the nation.
Did you hear that? I like those battle raps where you say some like a credible punchline, a dude in the back be like, did y'all hear that? Can you read that part again?
Whoso giveth ear unto her shall judge the nation.
Whoso giveth ear unto her shall judge the nation. Woo! Don't you know that King Solomon's prayer request led him to rule the world? It's giving instruction on how to rule your people.
Wisdom.
Wisdom! That's why when you talk to Esau gets intimidated when you don't fit into the nigga box. I've noticed that about Esau. This man, his comfort zone is your ignorance. But when you don't, he can't put you in a nigga box. It's okay. So what is it?
That thing with Jake. Jake got to be in some form of entertainment.
Yep.
So if there's anything outside of that, you something different.
Yep.
Silly mode.
Silly mode.
Yeah.
And if you're serious, then, and you won't, you didn't fall for the nigga box, then it's like you a threat to him. You a threat to him because Esau wants to continue to rule. Esau's self-esteem comes from the fact that I'm over these niggas.
And that shows you how weak he is in the mind, because he's intimidated by anyone else that's outside of that. Like you said, he's intimidated by any Jake that's outside of that nigga paradigm.
Yep.
Hey, because us, like, when we get around, you know, men that are sharp in the spirit, man, it's like we sharpen each other up. Like, we bounce off each other. And see, Esau, he wants you dumbed down. Like, no, man, like, that's why our kingdom gonna be so great, because no brother's gonna be covetous, you know, of another brother, you know, his portion he got. No, it's gonna be all about building. It's gonna be all about, it's gonna be wisdom. All right, steady add to wisdom. You see?
Your gift add to my gift and vice versa.
Yeah,
networking.
Yeah, it's gonna be a thing. And see, that's what people sleep on is wisdom. See, civilizations start off with wisdom. You know, everything that we see around us is nothing but the evolution of wisdom, because it started from something. Like, even when you go back to the Sumerian Empire, you know, they were the first, like those ziggurats, what they call ziggurats. That's where you get these skyscrapers from. This ain't nothing but modern day ziggurats, you know.
Wow. This number the repeat of Babylon.
It's nothing but a repeat, because you got like because when you go into civilizations, the thing, you know, they say people were what, hunter-gatherers first.
Yep.
And then they started farming. All right, the agriculture. And then after because they say how the reason why civilizations, you know, are able to flourish is when the civilization masters agriculture. Because once you got a system of agriculture, now you free up other people to think. Because you got the food supply chain on lock. So now you got that master. Now you have people that do that, but then you have other people that are thinkers that can learn how to build to learn how to do 2-story, 3-story, what material to make this to, you know, to with that brick and mortar and all these different things, you know. But it starts off with the wisdom of the agriculture, you know, and then it starts off to the buildings, because that's what you would see first. You would see the food supply chain get secured, and then you will see civilizations build up, you know. But it's all going back to wisdom. You see that? That's why Adam had that wisdom, so you know he probably, his kingdom, you know, was probably, that's why I say the scripture talk about how the devil was envious of, hey, because he had that wisdom, like they sinned, that's why he came to Eve with that bullshit, man.
Got
You know?
something?
You got it, bro.
Proverbs chapter 8, verse 12.
Yep.
Our wisdom dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions.
So witty inventions, you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Because what's that in Sirach, the one you always
Sirach
get?
38?
The one about the Smith and the
Yeah.
You finished with that, bro?
Yeah, that's what it, bro.
Yeah, read it again.
All right, Proverbs chapter 8, verse 12.
Yep.
Our wisdom dwell with prudence
Yep.
and find out knowledge of witty inventions.
See, we ain't seen inventions yet. You see, people think that what we see now don't get no better than this.
It don't be
Yeah, no, we haven't seen inventions yet. All right, you know, Israel in the kingdom, it's gonna be Israelite men. All right, in their free time. You know the things we're gonna come up with. You know, then we're gonna have that pure connection to our power, man.
You know, hey, going back to Black Panther, that's why Esau making fun of it so much.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Here you got these niggas, they
Yeah.
in power, they got their own.
Just the thought of that intimidates that man.
They tapped into an element too.
Yep.
What happened was in the movie, they tapped into one of the elements of the earth.
Yep. That my brain.
The vibranium, which was fictional, but it has power to it.
Yep.
Because you can't have a superpower without understanding the elements of the earth.
Yep.
Batteries,
Yep.
you know, copper, electricity. It all goes back to the elements, man. You know? Sirach, oh, sorry.
You got it.
Or Sirach 38 and 24.
Yep.
The wisdom of a learned man come by opportunity of leisure.
Opportunity of leisure. Going back to when those earlier civilizations, going back to Samaria, then you had the Akkadian civilization dealing with Sargon, then they went into the Babylonian, you know, then you had the, Egypt, all right, and then on down to what we have today, you see. But that whole Mesopotamian region, like when you go into it, once they mastered, you know, how to cultivate the land with crops, that's when empires started being formed, man. Go ahead.
And he that have little business shall become wise.
A little business, because if you spending your whole existence hunting and gathering or doing agriculture, it's pretty much all you can do. But see, once they secured their civilization, then they freed up the thinkers to start learning how to build architecture, man.
And that's why Esau has it set up to where the average Israelite, he works for a paycheck.
Yep.
They're systematically designed so you never build anything.
Yep. Hey, because you got to think like the average Israelite man, all right, he works these, you know, this low grade job, you know. Then you go from that job, all right, to a woman that hates you, all right. Kids don't respect you because they see how the mama talk to you. So they're like that. That's almost like the average, you know, Israelite man day. So he can't be productive. Like he's not inspired. You know, he goes his whole life, you know. First, then you got his mama cussing him out for, you know, to where he can from what he can understand to kindergarten, 12th grade. Well, you know what mama said? You know, he hear that, so it's like, you know, he's not inspired nowhere. You know, go ahead.
Sirach 38 and 25. How can he get wisdom that holdeth the plow, and that glorieth in the gold, that driveth oxen, and is occupied in their labors, whose talk is of bullocks?
Yeah, who's occupied their labor. And I always say these societies, like if you work on back of a garbage truck or do construction or these plants, you work those 10, 11, 12 hours.
Right.
You pretty much have by the time you fight the traffic to the house, you know, it's time to get ready for the next day. You know? Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
How far do you want me to go down?
Yeah, keep reading. Which one is it? Without these cities can.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go out with that. Sirach 38 and 32.
Yeah.
Without these cannot a city be inhabited.
Yeah, so they are needful, and that's why the kingdom, these other nations want to have these positions. You know? And let's prove it real quick in Isaiah 61. You know, because we ended the day. Isaiah 61 and 4, I want to say. It's proof that these other nations gonna
Yeah, it
do
went
it.
out.
And my battery went up.
I believe you died.
It's Isaiah 61:4.
Yeah.
And they shall build the old waste.
Yeah, that's it.
They shall build the old waste.
They shall build the old waste. All right, because after World War III, hey, it's gonna be time for what? These other nations gonna have to learn construction. All right, go ahead.
They should raise up the former
Yep.
desolation,
Keep going.
and they should repair the waste
They
cities.
shall repair. All right, this is labor. Go ahead.
And repair the waste cities and desolation of many generations.
Keep going.
And the strange shall stand and feed your flocks.
And the stranger shall stand and feed your flock. Go ahead.
And the sons of the aliens shall be your plowman,
Your plowman. You see? Go ahead.
and your vineyard dressers,
And your vine dresser.
vine dressers.
Yep.
Verse 6. But you should be named the priest of the Most High.
So we're gonna be the priest. All right. We're not gonna do it because you go back to Levi. Levi didn't work. You know, everyone else took care of Levi. We're going back to our position. All right, as the priest and king. But these other nations are going to do the labor. All right, go ahead.
Men shall call you the minister of our power.
Yep.
You should eat the riches of the Gentiles,
Yep.
and in their glory shall you boast in yourself.
So we're going to trade the both. We wouldn't say
Was it to trade places?
To trade places. So we're going to go from the hands and feet, all right, to the head.
The first shall be last, the
Yep.
last be
So
first.
first, yeah. So it's going to be a switcheroo. You see? But they're needed. That labor is going to be needed. But then you need the heads as well. Go ahead.
Sirach 38 and 32. Without these cannot a city be inhabited.
Yep.
They should not dwell where they will, nor go up and down. They should not be sought for in public council, nor sit high in the congregation. They should not sit on the judge's seat, nor understand the sentence of judgment. They cannot declare justice and judgment, and they should not be found where parables are spoken.
Yep. So that's going to be this position is for us, man. All right, the house of David.
Yep.
All right. So we're finna get back in their position of ruling, and they finna get in their position of laborers, man.
Right.
Going back to what y'all was saying earlier, man. I seen the arrow that proceeded from the rule. All right. Hey, the servants sitting on horses and princes walking on ground. So now the Most High finna get it right, man. You know, but it started with us now being molded into that, man. You see?
Hey, with that, we hope you brothers and sisters were edified. Once again, we want to give our honor and glory to
Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua Ba'ashem, Rakabadash.
double honor to our elder apostles and elder bishops of great millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the house of David the elect. Abba.
Come here, shout.
Shalom.
Shalom.
There you go.